Hey everybody, it's Metalhead in Mexico. Thank you for joining. This is Cake of the Metal Dog, and I just wanted to share my excitement, realizing that on the in the future, at the latter half of my time in the U.S. Doing seasonal work and seeing family, it's gonna be one day closer to not only coming back to Mexico and my husband, who I miss very, 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 very much, but also it's going to be a chapter where we are going to actively look for pets to adopt, a dog and a cat, for the first time in probably, it's been close to 5 years at this point since our last pet. They all just got old. It's a long story, and I'll probably get into those in a future uh, video, because that's covering probably the midlife aspect of life's journeys and things like that, and where life takes you. And one of the delays we had was thinking about, as close as we were to getting to our Mexico goal and destination, it was also a difficult thing to decide to say goodbye to our last pet. This is still, it's been 4 years and it's still difficult to talk about, isn't it? If you've had dealt with pet loss, know that you know what I'm talking about. It never gets easy, and even when you have new pets in your life, you still think about the other ones. And I think maybe it's still a bit difficult for us because right now we don't have any pets, and we've been navigating without pets for the first times in our lives for the last 4 years. So as we've untethered from our lives in the US and journeyed to Mexico and sought residency, all this has been without any pets, and it's very strange for us to be navigating this way. And even though we have each other, which of course we're grateful for, we're not accustomed to really navigating life without animals in our lives. And I think in some way it's added to the stress and tensions, because we know, you all know, those of you who have pets in your lives know what a wonderful therapy they are. As wonderful as my husband and I are with each other, we're best friends. I'm just so lucky to be married to my best friend in the whole wide world. There's something special about pets, right? You can have the worst day in the world, and there's just things you don't have to explain to a dog or cat. And yes, it's because they're a dog or cat, but they have different ways of communicating. They're not as verbal or vocal as we are. And we rely maybe a little too much sometimes on talking to communicate. And pets tell you it's all right. Pets, you come home and pets tell you that, you can have that shitty day. It's all right. I'm just glad you're home. And realizing how much I missed that. And so when we got to Mexico, we had a 6-month rental at a place, and I shared another video. You can see Atole. Atole was our landlord's cat, and he really helped us in a therapeutic way. This cat, to help us open our hearts again, to realize how ready we are to have pets in our lives. And of course, every animal we've had in our lives have their own special place in our hearts, and they'll always be there, right? But we realized, it wasn't our place to really start falling for somebody else's cat. And that was a hard one. Didn't expect to fall for him the way we did. Very sweet little guy. But I think, we're it's maybe partially the exhaustion of this journey, the kind of the mental gymnastics we've had to navigate, making sure everybody's okay as they're gonna be with our news and our journey, our decision to leave the U.S., and still keep all of our relationships as intact as they possibly could be. That's the stuff that people don't talk about. They talk about, the excitement, the journey, and all that kind of stuff. But the loyalty to friendship and family um, can take a different form if you allow it, and also if the other parties are going to allow it. And you don't always have control over that, and you can do everything you can possible. And if it doesn't go well, there's some guilt. If it goes well, there's some guilt too. But we're really realizing in the end, though, how ready we are to have pets again, and we gave the best life to the ones that we had. Well, there were the cats, in the more recent decades, all of them. My husband had a dog when we first met, and anyway, we've had a series of pets, and then we each grew up with pets. So being petless in Mexico is kind of weird. Fortunately for us, though, there's an abundance of pets to be adopted. If anything, my concern is I don't want us becoming like the house of Dr. Doolittle with 18 cats and dogs, because our hearts just melt, and we're adopting and stuff. But we didn't let that get out of hand ever before, so I don't really think that's going to happen. There are a lot of street dogs in Mexico and some feral cats. So there's like a TNR, or a trap neuter release program, and the program teaches the communities to how to care for the cats, and they also and cats in turn do what they do, right? They help reduce pests, and they do hunting and things like that. So teaching the community to embrace their little feline friends that are out in the street, keep an eye on them and keep them safe as possible, is part of that journey. And so our hope is to, our goal is to start with 2 pets, and I'm trying to keep it to just that. But if it goes to 4, we get 2 cats, 2 dogs. That can work. Anyway, all that to say, there's some excitement, and realizing just how ready we are emotionally. We're kind of emotionally a little shot and fragile, I think, from all this change. It's self-imposed, but most of it anyway. But some of it's not, and some of it we're just kind of responding in self-interest. And our self-interest is to go where we're treated best. To echo the words of a YouTuber and entrepreneur that goes by Nomad Capitalist. Thank you, Nomad Capitalist, for reminding us to look out for ourselves, and that no one's going to do it for us, right? So anyway, quick shout out to him and his team. It's not a promotion or a plug, really. I'm just saying that that's going to be some of my resources I'm going to include in the links below, so people can understand the journey we went on, how we arrived there, and how we are now in a position where we are well on a path of toward permanent residency in Mexico, toward being fur mamas and fur daddies, to furry ones again, and hopefully making roots in Mexico. So that's my message. Blessed are the weird.